Peter Tosh. Thank you for allowing us these few moments of getting into you and your soul, your heart, and your spirit.
All right.
You mentioned that some people have been messing up your business, and you're going about now straightening it up. You were not happy with the way things were being run in your behalf?
Yeah, my management previously was not dealing with management, was not capable, was totally insecure and unreliable, incompetent. And that was last year, when after I realized I started to change overall my business. And started to get more involved into my business, because when you leave up your things to people, they do what they want to do, And they've been doing some very terrible things that have been discriminating me and victimizing me and doing everything that was detrimental to my career. But I'm trying to get it straight,
So you're pretty happy about the people you have working with you now?
Well, not directly. These people that are working with me now are just started work. And I cannot be happy until I see certain amount of work's been done.
You did a record, a song, African, where you stated, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, if you're a black man, you're an African.
See?
That philosophy and thinking is way ahead of its time. What brought you about to feel that way?
Because the black man has been way ahead of its time from ever since. It's only, you see, in these places where black people are held in the back, see, these kind of thoughts may sound like it's way ahead, but it must be way ahead, because anything that is progressive and is the truth is always a way ahead of lies and hypocrisy. See? So that has been a concept, traditional way of life, thousands of years before modern civilization. It's nothing new.
Where are you heading now musically? Are you trying to get more into the pop market? Are you tending to lean toward more spiritual, more roots?
I am always spiritual with my music, but if my spiritual music can get into pop market, it means a lot to me, because it makes more money. I'm into record business to get the message across and to make money, because that's my way of living. See?
What is your personal living philosophy that you instill in your music?
My living philosophy is truth and rights.
When you first began musically, going back to your childhood, what is the first music that you really were into, that you could feel?
My childhood, well, all the songs that I used to sing in my childhood was songs of the heart, songs of feelings. It was no specific song that I used to sing that I individually love, but I was born a musician, born a singer, and every time I sing a song is with my heart. So don't care who was the composer of that song previously. When I put my endeavors into it, it makes it a different song. See?
Before you were into reggae, back during the R&B era, the rhythm and blues era, did you feel, before you knew reggae was coming on the scene, did you feel uneasiness that you wanted to move beyond musically where you were at that time?
For example, there was never a time that I was never in reggae music. From I was in my mother's womb, reggae music has been in me. See? And there was never a time in my world that there was not reggae music. I hear R&B on the stations that, they play them because it's music. And they play rock and roll, they play calypso, they play merengue, they play everything that is music. But in my world, it's reggae music is the foundation of the music. It's a concept, it's a traditional way of life. It's like something given to you. It's a talent, but it's not everyone in my world get that talent or it's not everyone in the universal world gets that talent. And this music has been ancient. It's not a music that came in the 1960s or the 1950s or just came around. It has been from the earth. It was the music that we used to play thousands of years before modern civilization. See?
In Africa, in the 16 to 1800s, there were rulers, chiefs, and kings and elders who sold Africans to Europeans. Today, there are black people who still maintain that same mentality and will sell out other black people for a dime, for any amount to get what they feel is a European way of life.
Mm-hmm.
What is your message to black people who think this type of thinking?
Well, my message to people who think that kind of way is just that every man is going to get paid according to his work today. See? So irrespective of how a man wants to think, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force him to drink. See? So every man has to keep on doing what he's doing. These aren't the days when you can baptize a man and reform him and break him and make him what he wasn't. Because an apple tree have to bear apple. Sometimes they do pretend to bear mangoes, but after a time it must manifest the apple that lurks within.
Have you ever tried to take any traditional African musical elements and instill them in your music today?
Well, for example, all of my music has traditional African elements, because you can take a mango from Jamaica and you bring it to Brazil, you call it mango. If you take an apple from China and you take it to Taiwan, it is apple. See? And if you take a black man from Africa and take him to Jamaica, he is still an African. See? So nothing can get us out of what we are, because it's a traditional way of my thoughts to always say that you can take the black man out of Africa, but you cannot take Africa out of the black man.
Your direction, as you stated, is truth. Have there been forces within the music industry or record industry that have told you, look, Peter Tosh, you know, all you have to do is just do this commercial thing and everything will be all right and you'll be a big star?
Yes. Well, not directly, but indirectly. See, because that's the shit stem, which I know. But I did not come here for that. And the truth that I sing today, the world is suffering the consequences, see, of lies and hypocrisy. And soon the world will have to face up to what the judgment bringeth, because every day the bucket goes to the well, but one day the bottom must drop out. See? And people been living on lies and feeding on lies and hypocrisy all the days of their lives. One day they will want to see the truth. And as long as I maintain the standard of dignity and walk within my integrity, one day the people who want to know truth will come to find out I am still living the life of truth as I was thousands of years ago. So I will continue to maintain that standard till when the people realize.
Have you ever had any physical threats to yourself because you have chosen the path of truth, and does that bother you at all?
Well, I am wanted. My previous album is called Wanted. The reason why I make a song called Wanted, because I know when you live in a world of lie, whose world foundation is lies and hypocrisy, and you come with a motor of truth and rights, then you know you have a fight. Not a fight, but many fights. And the fight is unto victory or unto destruction. See? But it's for you to have the heart, see, and the endurance to continue to know whether you you will continue this fight or you will give up. See? Well, one of my songs on my album is called Not Gonna Give It Up. See? Because my fight is not physical, it's spiritual. I fight with earthquake, lightning and thunder, disease and disaster from every angle. See? So I don't have no thoughts of giving up.
What is your spiritual way of thinking? How do you relate spiritually?
For example?
For example, are you part of an organized church? Are you part of a religious movement?
No.
Are you independent? Do you just independently relate with God or Jah?
I independently relate with Jah, because, as I say, every tub has to stand up on his own bottom. Every man has to represent his own soul, see, and his own temple. Some people have a body, but when you want to know the truth, the eyes will deceive you. You have to look internally, and when you look internally, you'll find that you see the Creator. See, he lies he lies in the corner of a place called conscience. That's where he lives. Some people call it conscience and, positive frame of mind, but it's the Creator who lives there. And when you go there and talk to him, he shows you everything. He says, just open your mouth and I will fill it with words.
What is the most important thing that African people throughout the world, particularly African parents, can instill in their children today?
The most important thing? Well, the most important thing, for example, this whole world is suffering from moral deterioration. International morality is at stake. See? And even though international morality is at stake, it is not being seen by those who should have seen the destruction of the morality of the society. And whenever a society has destroyed itself with immorality, then it is doomed. See? So the best thing for one's youth or parents to teach children today is morality, and to know what is morality. Because destruction of morality is in promotion in these places. See? And people don't see. Elder people don't know. Parents suck the sour grape and it sets the children's teeth on edge.
Many of us looking at reggae, the Rasta movement, from a distance.
No, the Rasta's levity is not a movement. See, it's a traditional way of life. A movement is something that is organized by someone who has not got a spiritual direction. The Rasta's levity is a traditional way of life with spiritual guidance by Jah the Almighty.
Okay, within the whole Rasta existence and your existence on earth, where do you see what you're doing and others are doing in the next 3, 5, 10 years? What influence do you see Rastas having on the world through your music and other music in the next 3, 5 to 10 years?
A very heavy, effective influence, if that's the word. Because the influence has been, Rasta is not of today or yesterday. Rasta is of the beginning. See? But when Western Christians, so-called, came into existence, they came to stamp out the levity of the reality of Rastafari. Rastafari is the reality of the fantasy that the Jesus philosophers paint in the Western Hemisphere, so as to sell an illusion of who Christ really is, so as to keep the black man sick, lost in illusion and fantasy, seeking to find the reality which is himself. See? But as I and I know that I and I represent the what you say, the reality of the fantasy today, and that's why we are wanted. See? And the influence, as you would say, is very, very heavy because people now seek for truth. Some people may be influenced by the external appearance of what may look like a Rasta man, because there are many ones who look like a Rasta man, because Satan say he came to deceive all nations, even the saints thereof, and the saints are and is and will forever be the Rasta man. See? So there is where Satan is now having his movement, according to you, because that's where Satan is trying to penetrate the Rasta man way of life, and to get it involved in lots of movement. You see, here there is an organization set up themselves and call it a movement. There's another one around here set up themselves and call it a movement, and they keep on setting up themselves and call it their movement. And within these organizations, there are guys who call themselves leader, which are not spiritual leaders. See, there are guys who smoke cigarette, they drink champagne, them sniff cocaine, them do everything that is abominable. And to do these things, you cannot do these things and be spiritual. See, because when you say Rasta, it means righteousness fundamentally. Don't mean nothing else.
You have made the statement that if you legalize herb, I will promote it. There are many people who have sort of moral thoughts or ideas about herb being a devil weed, being something bad and terrible and negative.
Devils will say those things. Don't forget that. See, because the truth is dangerous in a world of lie and hypocrisy. And herb is truth. I have never seen a scientist that has invented me a leaf. And it's the same great scientist that has made water, has made air, and has made oxygen, and has made all these fantastic things. Make herb. See? Also make man to smoke herb. And I see no reason. Man have been smoking herb before Western civilization. I did not come from the West. I came from the East. And as I say, you can take an African out of Africa, but you cannot take Africa out of him. See? Western, what you call Democrats and Socialists and all form of political organization organize themselves against the truth to build a world of lies and illusion. That's why you have so much death and destruction in these places. There is nothing progressive because everyone believes in the synthetic world. See? And everything that is plastic and imaginable, everything that is created from the minds of men. They have no thought or belief or confidence in what was created by the divine thought of the Almighty. Seeing people try to forsake and forbid these things and to turn onto things that men invent. But I will live for what Jah created upon earth, which is the tradition of life, herbs for the use of man. And what they call marijuana is the king of those herbs.
When you were here last several months ago, there was an interview you did for the Los Angeles Times.
Yes, I heard a guy write a whole lot of bullshit.
There was a lot of criticism.
And let me tell you something, man. That was the only black guy I talked to. See? And when I talked to him and thinking that he was a guy who was seeing what I was saying, I realized that he was whiter than the white guys that I spoke to. See? Because he took what I said morally and turned it around so that people could criticize. See? And what I was saying was just spiritually awakening towards black people. See? Because black people don't seem to realize that they are king and queens, princess and prince and princesses, prophets and priests. See? That's what black people are. And now they are the buzzards of the earth. See?
We're interrupting the Peter Tosh interview for a slight moment. We will not edit the interview, but we're sitting in the Los Angeles Times office with Dennis Hunt, who wrote the article. Dennis, you've heard Peter Tosh accusation to your article. What is your response to this?
Well, first of all, I will say I stand by the stuff that I said in the article. Second of all, when I talked to Peter, he made a distinction between blacks in this country and blacks in, I guess, his country. You know? And he has been on record saying some nasty things about blacks from this country and things that I did not agree with at all. And that's one thing that we were hashing about at the time that I talked to him. And the way the article came out, he said some things that were negative about blacks in this country. And I think in looking back at the article, he was probably sorry that he said some of the things, but he did say them, you know. And his feeling about blacks from this country is, as I said, not as high as it could be, and that's what he and I were basically quarreling about.
During your interview and your recollection with him, what were some of the things that you can recall that he said about blacks in this country?
Well, the interview was so long ago, I can't recall lots of the details, but there was a feeling that I gathered from him from some of the stuff that he said. And as I said, based upon some of the things that I had read in the past, I knew that he held these views and hadn't changed these views either. So it was just like in the middle of the interview, I started to get a little bit bothered by his attitude. And there was some tension and friction, obviously. But as I said, which happens with an awful lot of people, after you talk to them, they see the story in print, and they have negative feelings about what they say, and they try and say that they didn't say it or the writer twisted the words, but basically basically everything that he said, I mean, all the stuff that I say that he said, he actually said, and so his quarrel, I think, is nonsense, really.
Okay, you interviewed him for approximately an hour and a half. Was there any other angle or theme that you might have been able to write on?
Sure, I could have done a nice puff piece about his music and said that he's a swell guy and he makes nice music, but that's boring, you know? And that's what I always try to stay away from. I always look for what's interesting and what's different about somebody, and this was the one aspect of the one thing about Peter that was controversial, and that to me was more fascinating than because people know that he sings well, and who cares, you know? But I am more interested in what's controversial.
So you stand by your story?
Oh, definitely stand by it.
Okay, Dennis, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. We know you have a busy schedule, so thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And now back to the Peter Tosh interview. Let me say this to our audience and to Peter Tosh. This tape will not be edited. Everything that Peter Tosh is telling us is just the way it is. There is no edits involved whatsoever.
And I like it like that, because when one word or one letter of a word is edited from what was being said, it makes the whole sentence a lie. See? And as I say, this world is a world of lie and hypocrisy. It comes to promote lies and illusion, not the truth. Because the truth is life and lies is death.
Reggae has been very well accepted in just about the entire world, except for the United States, except on a minor scale. What do you think the reason the United States has not embraced reggae like other parts of the world?
Well, because the United States may be the foundation of lies and hypocrisy that cannot accept truth. See, because what they promote here is just lies. I would not say that America is the only place that promote lies. The whole Western Hemisphere promote lies. See, but they may be the most stiff-necked against among the rest. See, but soon and very soon, what the people need, that's what they will get, because it's not the politician that makes the people, it's the people that makes politician. See, it's bureaucrats that run the radio station, and when one song is not being played on the radio station, you know how much people is being victimized. See, that's why we have to have records selling in the shops. But soon and very soon, As long as I am going to play another record and other reggae singers and performers are going to play reggae throughout the ends of the earth, reggae must be accepted in the United States. If it is the last place to bow, it will.
Where are you now? Are you on a world tour, or is this just something you're doing in the United States and going back home?
Yeah, well, this is just the United States. Well, right now here there are proposals of Australia and Japan and all different places in Africa. But
I understand you just joined CBS, Columbia Records. Do you think that will significantly help your record sales?
well, I guess so, and I hope so. And I try to make the music the best with the best of my ability. I know the ingredients to put inside of my music to make it have that effective medicinal therapy, because people may think this music is just a music. Reggae music is a therapy. See? And it has high effect on those who listen. See? Both spiritually, physically, and morally. So we'll keep on doing what we are doing to make it right.
While you were involved with the Wailers, did you get musical fulfillment and satisfaction with playing with such great individuals, or did you feel that you needed to burst out on your own and do and say what you had to say?
Yes, because as I said, every tub has to stand on its own bottom. When I was singing with Bob, we used to sing together and we used to create our pictures together. We used to decorate them together. See, but that was what you would call combination of different minds that comes together to make one picture, a picture that you can look upon or listen and be accepted, be highly accepted. But at the same time, I know that was only a fraction of what was inside of me, because that was not what I came on this earth to do. See? But at the same time, because of facilities and how the world was set up, see, I could not hang my hat higher than I could take it down. See? And I did not want to start to climb the ladder from the middle or the top. I prefer to start from the bottom, because anyone who starts from the middle to reach the top, or start from the top to reach to the upper top, will have to come back down to the bottom to see how it was, and that's very difficult.
There has been a bit of criticism There has been quite a bit of criticism up until today, basically, but in the earlier part, that reggae was primarily male-dominated and that women did not hold prominent roles within the traditional life of Rasta. How do you respond to this?
That was only propaganda. In the days of old, when prophets used to walk the earth, if there was woman prophet, there would be 1 out of 400. See, well, the music that we sing today are the music of prophets. See, our prophetic music. See, so because of the spirituality within the music, it was not given to much woman. See, many women may be influenced by the picture that the man painted and love the decorations and try to paint another picture from it. But spiritually, to get divine inspiration, to prophesy of something musically, that was not given to much woman, and I've never seen a woman that has got that yet. See, So that is nothing that we have control over. The man, the Rasta man, is the one who communicates spiritually and physically with the Almighty. See, no one cometh unto the Father but by the Son. We are the sons of the Father. See, so we are the mediator between him and the woman.
Last question. What Peter Tosh, what is the most important message that you can give to black people at this day and time, and then to people in general?
Well, there are so much important messages for black people, but is today will have ears to hear. Because, as I say, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot force him to drink. I may try to say the most beautiful words now, but it's like casting pearls before swine. See? And that was written in the Bible, because whosoever will must come. But one of the most important things is for black people to stop looking out and looking inward. See? And he who cannot faces up to the inner appearance of himself, then cannot faces up to the external appearance of truth.
And lastly, what is your response?
Black people must now learn to respect black people irrespective of their external appearance. They must stop judging books by the cover, because long time we've been deceived by white shirt and clean clothes and fantastic external appearance, and being deceived by that and being carried down by that.
You are watching Scratch TV channel on youtube.com.